You're lying prone in freezing mud. The temperature hovers just above 2 degrees Celsius. Your gloves are soaked through. Night vision flickers in a dull green pulse, cutting the world into fragments. A figure appears where there shouldn't be one. Too close, too still. Your comms crackle mid-command, then drop into silence. No static, just absence. You slow your breathing, control the tremor in your trigger finger. You wait for confirmation that never comes. This is where it starts. Not with training, not with choice, with uncertainty. You weren't recruited the way people imagine. No speeches, no ceremony, just a list. Your name on it. Psychological screening flagged you as compliant under pressure, resistant to fatigue, low emotional leakage. You passed thresholds most people never see. The first phase wasn't about strength, it was removal. Sleep reduced to 4 hours, then 3. Then interrupted entirely. Meals timed, measured, stripped of comfort. You learned to function at a resting heart rate of 110 beats per minute. Stress wasn't an exception. It was the baseline. They took your name early, replaced it with a number that changed every 6 weeks. Identity instability was part of conditioning. You weren't supposed to anchor to anything. You learned silence, not just in speech, but in reaction. Pain registered but never expressed. Cold wasn't something to fight. It was something to endure. The ones who asked questions didn't last past week 5. The ones who hesitated didn't make it to week 8. You stopped tracking time after day 40. You passed by not quitting when quitting made sense. Years don't feel like years here. They compress into sequences, training blocks, deployments, debrief cycles. Your gear weighs 32 kilograms. Weapon, ammunition, hydration, surveillance equipment, medical kit. You carry it across uneven terrain for 18 hours without pause. The straps cut into your shoulders. Skin breaks. You don't adjust unless ordered. You memorize terrain faster than faces. Elevation maps, entry points, exit vectors. You can recall a 12-kilometer radius from memory within 30 minutes of briefing. Promotions aren't announced. They're assigned. A new responsibility appears in your file. More oversight. Less margin for error. You go from following commands to issuing them, but the tone stays the same. Flat, precise, final. Mistakes aren't corrected. They're recorded. Logged in after-action reports with timestamps down to the second. Delay, 1.7 seconds. Deviation, 3 meters. Patterns are tracked. Weaknesses identified. At year 3, you lead a 2-person unit. At year 5, 4. By year 7, you're making calls that determine whether someone else returns. There's no moment where it feels earned, only expected. The system runs on rules that are never written down. Officially, every operation is structured. Timelines, objectives, contingencies. Unofficially, survival depends on interpretation. You learn creative compliance. Orders are followed exactly, but only as far as they remain viable. When conditions shift, you adapt without waiting for permission. Delay is failure. You file reports within 6 hours of mission completion. Always 6. No extensions. You use language that removes emotion. Target neutralized. Collateral minimized. Words are chosen for efficiency, not accuracy. Budgets are numbers you see but never touch. Equipment costs logged to the decimal. Ammunition expenditure tracked per round. You understand the value of what you carry, but not the cost of what you do. Temperature thresholds dictate movement. Above 35 degrees Celsius, hydration cycles increase. Below 0 degrees Celsius, exposure windows shorten. Everything is calculated. Even silence is procedural. If comms go dark for more than 90 seconds, fallback protocols initiate. You don't question why. You execute. You start to notice changes, but not all at once. You stop calling home regularly. Conversations become compressed. You answer questions with minimal detail. Work is fine. I'm fine. The words lose meaning. Birthdays pass without acknowledgement. Not out of neglect, but because dates stop registering. Time is measured in operations, not days. You sleep differently. Even when off-duty, your body remains alert. You wake at the slightest noise. Heart rate spikes, then stabilizes. It becomes routine. You avoid crowds, not consciously. Just a gradual shift. Too many variables, too many unknowns. You begin to think in terms of risk assessment. Every room has exits. Every person has potential intent. You don't switch it off. You can't. Relationships don't end abruptly. They erode. Missed calls, short replies, long gaps. Eventually, there's nothing left to maintain. You don't feel isolated. Not exactly. It's more precise than that. You become self-contained. The mission that changes everything doesn't look different on paper. Coordinates, objective, timeline, standard parameters. But the details start slipping early. Weather shifts beyond forecast. Visibility drops below 20 meters. Terrain doesn't match the satellite.